This is TWiT.
How do you describe VMware's unique approach to mobile security?
Well, it's a little bit broader, I think, than just mobile security. VMware acquired AirWatch several years ago, which was one of the leaders in the MDM space. So we've been doing iOS and Android device management security for some time. Over the past couple of years, desktop operating systems like Mac and Windows have adopted MDM frameworks in them so that they can be managed not from on-premise imaging-based systems, through domain join, domain controllers, GPOs, all that, but now through cloud-based distribution of MDM APIs and MDM profiles. So that was one foundational piece, having this mobile/desktop management platform. So the second piece was, we had a virtualization technology, a VDI technology, Horizon, and several years ago we built an identity management capability to allow single sign-on access, to VDI sessions to individual applications. What we did was, as the world started to change and people started to work outside of the network, starting to access, cloud-based applications as well as their internal applications, we began to morph that identity capability towards more of an IDP, an identity provider, so that we could, leverage SAML, OAuth, and other federation technologies to grant single sign-on access, not just those behind the firewall applications, but also to cloud-based services, Workday, Salesforce, and what have you. Basically, we took that identity component out of Horizon specifically and merged it with the endpoint management capability from AirWatch into a single management platform, and that's what Workspace ONE has become. And it enables basically the management in every device, and for every one of those devices, we can give the user access to any application, cloud-based, behind the firewall, native on the device, no matter what identity broker you're using. We can act as the IDP, we can work with Azure AD, Kerberos, and anything behind the firewall with Active Directory. We can work with Okta, Ping, and all those types of cloud-based IDPs as well. So that's the inherent platform of Workspace ONE. What we announced recently was an intelligence layer, which we're calling Workspace ONE Intelligence, go figure, that starts to now acquire a cross workspace data set. So we were taking the mobile and desktop data on the state of compliance of the device from AirWatch. We're taking the access attempts and identity events from the identity layer. We also made an acquisition of a company called Apptelligent about a year ago that did instrumentation of applications. So if you worked with their SDK, you could see, let's say on a given mobile application, I could see what features is this person using, what's the sequence of features through a workflow, are there any bottlenecks or performance issues happening? And so all that application data comes in there as well. And we're able to look across all this data, correlate it, and from a security perspective, as you were asking about, look for specific security issues across that entire landscape. So what kind of at step one with respect to security today, you can look at different patches, CVEs and whatnot, and correlate that against your entire endpoint fleet and identify systems that might be vulnerable to a given in the wild exploit for which a patch hasn't been distributed. And you can actually automate that patch distribution to remediate the vulnerability and eradicate the exploit if necessary. One of the things we're going to be doing in the future is we're working with a bunch of third-party security partners in what we call the VMware Trust Network. Next generation threat defense companies like Cylance and CrowdStrike, traditional endpoint protection products like McAfee and Symantec, CASBs like Netscope, and we're bringing in their threat feeds into this single data repository to correlate that real-world threat information against the state of these endpoints, to be more proactive and identify potentially vulnerable systems before there actually is an exploit.